Okay, let's truly unpack this. Imagine a world perpetually teetering on the brink of an all-out supernatural war.
Yeah, just constantly on edge.
Exactly. And the only thing standing between that catastrophic conflict and, well, a fragile, uneasy peace. A politically arranged marriage.
Not exactly the most romantic beginning, is it?
Not even close. But this isn't just any marriage. It's a union forged between a fiercely pragmatic half-vampire outcast and a brooding, dangerously powerful werewolf alpha.
The classic enemies setup, but with like a supernatural twist.
Right. And here's where the real complexity and maybe the real danger emerges. Realizing that falling irrevocably in love with your sworn enemy, the very person you're bound to by duty but separated from by ancient bloodlines and, deep-seated grudges, that might just be the riskiest, most transformative move you could ever make.
It raises the stakes incredibly high.
Welcome to that kind of intensely high-stakes, emotionally charged scenario. Welcome to the deep dive. We're the place where we don't just scratch the surface of intriguing stories. We plunge headfirst into the very heart of them.
Get right down to the core.
Our mission, as always, is to extract those golden nuggets of knowledge and insight you need to be truly well-informed, bypassing the information overload and getting straight to the essence.
Cutting through the noise.
Exactly. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into Bride by Ali Hazelwood. It's a captivating new release that hit shelves February 6, 2024.
Pretty recent, then.
Yeah, and it's roughly 352 pages. This journey promises a world that is not only steamy and suspenseful, but also delightfully dark.
A bit of a departure for Hazelwood, maybe.
That's what we're going to explore. Our goal for you is to provide a shortcut to understanding what makes this particular release tick. We'll serve up surprising facts, illuminate the core narrative, delve into the characters driving it, and explore the powerful themes resonating throughout its pages. Dinner. Setting the supernatural stage, genre, world, and core conflict. So let's get right into what makes Bride stand out, especially if you're already familiar with Ali Hazelwood's previous work, because here's where it gets really interesting right off the bat.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
This isn't your typical contemporary romance with witty, brainy heroines navigating like STEM fields. Oh no.
Right, her usual stomping grounds.
Bride plunges us into a distinct genre blend. We're talking paranormal romance meets urban fantasy.
Okay, PNR and urban fantasy, that is different for her.
It's a fascinating, and I'd argue, pretty bold pivot for an author known for her beloved, more grounded love stories.
Well, what's particularly compelling here is precisely how this departure from her established contemporary romance style fundamentally impacts the tone, the whole scope of her storytelling.
How so?
Moving into paranormal romance isn't just about adding fangs or fur. It's about embracing a narrative framework where ancient grudges, these deep-seated prejudices, and inherited conflicts between species, they aren't just historical footnotes.
Right, they're active.
Exactly. They actively shape daily life, they dictate alliances, and they even transform something as intimate as marriage into, well, a calculated tool for survival and political maneuvering.
Oh.
The paranormal elements imbue the narrative with this profound sense of history and inescapable inherited conflict. Characters often find themselves acting not just as individuals, but as representatives or even pawns of their entire species.
That's a lot of weight to carry.
Definitely. And the urban fantasy aspect is just as crucial because it grounds this fantastical conflict, these supernatural beings, firmly within a modern world. It's a world that mirrors our own, with technology and familiar societal structures, yet it operates with this thrilling underlying reality that supernaturals secretly rule from the shadows.
So it feels both familiar and totally hidden.
Precisely. And this immediately sets a profoundly different tone than, say, the love hypothesis. It's far less about the quirky, relatable struggles of academia and far more about the weighty implications of power, survival, identity, and duty within a hidden, dangerous society where the stakes are quite literally life and death.
Or undeath, maybe.
Or undeath and primal instinct, exactly. The blend allows for both the escapism inherent in the fantastical and the very real, often brutal, consequences of these powerful supernatural factions constantly vying for dominance or fragile peace.
And it's a world that's constantly teetering on the edge, isn't it?
Yeah.
The setting of Bride is described as this modern world where vampires and werewolves secretly coexist, but that peace...
Fragile is putting it mildly.
The source material tells us it's perpetually fragile. Alliances aren't built on trust or shared values, apparently, but are purely political, constantly threatened by old resentments that, never truly die.
Sounds exhausting.
It sounds less like a peace treaty and more like a powder keg, just waiting for the smallest spark to ignite an all-out war. It truly raises the stakes from the very first page.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this setup immediately highlights the broader implications of these political treaties and their reliance on interspecies marriages.
Right. Why marriage specifically?
Well, it begs the question, why is this specific, intensely personal type of alliance, a marriage, the chosen method to maintain peace? It's because it's arguably the most binding, intimate, and often irreversible form of alliance one can forge.
More than just a signature on a piece of paper.
Absolutely. It's a literal merging of bloodlines, a combination of political power, and ideally, it forces the two sides to truly invest in one another's well-being and future progeny in a way a mere handshake deal simply couldn't.
That makes sense.
This creates immediate, intensely high stakes for the characters involved because their personal lives, their emotional well-being, their bodies, their entire futures are literally being used as bargaining chips for interspecies peace.
A huge loss of control.
It represents a profound loss of personal autonomy for the sake of a greater, albeit incredibly fragile, good. But it also presents unique vulnerabilities. For example, if one party in the marriage were to, say, betray the other, or if true affection were to blossom.
Which is kind of the whole point of the story.
Exactly. It could lead to an even more catastrophic fallout because the personal is so deeply intertwined with the political. It ensures that any breakdown in the relationship isn't just a personal failing, but a potential catalyst for widespread, brutal violence that could shatter their hidden world.
And at the very heart of this volatile setup is our protagonist, Misery Lark. She's introduced to us as a half-vampire outcast, someone who never expected her life to matter much at all.
Sets up her arc nicely.
Until she becomes the central bargaining chip in what's described as the most significant alliance of her generation. Talk about an abrupt shift in fate.
Going from zero to, well, reluctant linchpin.
Pretty much. From obscurity to becoming the key to an entire species' peace, whether she likes it or not.
It really prompts us to ask a crucial question about the concept of agency, when one's entire existence is explicitly used as a political tool, right?
Yeah, how much choice does she really have?
Misery's very identity as a half-vampire outcast immediately implies this profound lack of full acceptance from either community. She's neither fully one nor the other. This liminal status makes her uniquely suited, in a cynical political sense, to be a bridge.
Because she doesn't fully belong anywhere.
Exactly. She inherently lacks the deep-seated loyalties that could tie her purely to one side, but she also possesses no true belonging, no protective clan that would fight for her autonomy. This marginalization, paradoxically, makes her expendable in the eyes of the powerful, yet potentially vital as a forced mediator.
That's a tough spot.
Her outsider status might offer her a unique, detached perspective on the political machinations, but it also means she has less inherent power or protection within the established, rigid structures of both species. So while she's a bargaining chip on the surface, her very identity means she's often compelled to fight twice as hard for her own worth and influence within this forced arrangement.
Turning her from a pawn into something more.
Transforming her from a passive pawn into an unwilling yet increasingly formidable player. 2. The Fated Pair. Deep dive into Misery and Lowe.
So moving from the broader world to the individuals at its heart, let's turn our attention to the central figures, our fated pair, starting with Misery Lark herself.
Okay, Misery.
She's detailed as a half-human, half-vampire hybrid,
Yeah.
a background that immediately marks her as an outsider in both communities. Her personality is defined as pragmatic, sarcastic, and deeply guarded.
You can almost feel the walls.
Totally. And here's a critical detail. Even though her father is one of the most powerful vampire leaders, she's always been treated as second class, like an inconvenience.
Ouch. From her own father. The irony of her powerful vampire father treating her as second class is absolutely foundational to understanding Misery's character and her guarded nature.
How's that play out?
Well, imagine being the progeny of a powerful leader, someone who commands respect and fear, yet constantly feeling like you don't measure up, or worse, that your very existence is an embarrassment or an inconvenient secret.
That would build some serious defenses.
Precisely. This profound rejection, particularly from her own bloodline, forces Misery to develop a deeply pragmatic, self-reliant, and emotionally shielded approach to life. She simply cannot rely on the traditional protections or affections from her own kind, so she learns to navigate a dangerous world with a razor-sharp wit, a biting sarcasm, and an impenetrable emotional defense.
Survival skills, basically.
Exactly. This pragmatic approach is not just a personality quirk, it's essential for survival in this high-stakes world. It enables her to assess perilous situations coolly, to prioritize survival over emotional attachments she hasn't been granted, and to spot danger where others might be blinded by loyalty or tradition.
And being an outsider helps her see things.
Her outsider status, while a source of deep pain and resentment, ultimately makes her a compelling protagonist precisely because she sees the political landscape from a detached, almost analytical perspective. She's not bound by the biases of either faction, which uniquely positions her to uncover conspiracies and hidden motives that those deeply entrenched in their communities might overlook. She operates from a place of necessary self-interest that surprisingly makes her a more effective agent of truth.
And then we have her counterpart, Lowe Moreland. He's introduced as the brooding, powerful werewolf alpha.
Ah, the alpha.
Charismatic in a dark, formidable way, but also incredibly aloof, with a dangerous reputation that precedes him.
So not exactly warm and fuzzy.
Definitely not. He's got no patience for the intricate dance of politics, and frankly, he has plenty of deeply ingrained reasons to despise vampires.
Lowe undeniably embodies the classic brooding alpha trope, doesn't he? He possesses that undeniable magnetic charisma that draws you in, yet there's a distinct distance, an almost tangible aloofness that keeps you guessing about his true intentions and emotions.
That dangerous reputation, what does that suggest?
Well, it isn't just a throwaway line. It immediately suggests a past filled with intense conflict, decisive actions, and perhaps moments where he's had to be ruthless to protect his pack or assert his dominance within the supernatural hierarchy.
So he's got a history.
Oh, definitely. It hints at a history that makes others wary, even fearful, but simultaneously commands immense respect for his power and resolve. And the fact that he's hiding secrets about his past and motives is a significant red flag for the reader, and yet it's intriguing.
Makes you want to know what he's hiding.
Exactly. It immediately creates a vital layer of distrust and mystery around him. We sense he's not just a simple strongman. There's a complex, burdened inner world and something significant he's keeping under wraps, which makes his eventual hard-won vulnerability all the more impactful.
So these two archetypes, the outsider and the alpha, how do they set up the dynamic?
They are perfectly designed to set up a compelling enemies-to-lovers dynamic. Their inherent traits, like Misery's deep-seated resentment of being treated like property or an object, and Lowe's instinctive disdain for vampires stemming from ancient feuds, pose immense, specific challenges for a forced alliance.
They have a lot to overcome.
They have to overcome not just personal animosity and a lack of trust, but ingrained species-wide prejudices and their own powerful protective instincts. It's a fundamental clash of wills, loyalties, and deeply held beliefs that serves as the engine for the entire narrative. They are basically microcosms of their warring species forced into this uncomfortable intimacy. 3. The unfolding saga, a detailed plot progression.
So let's delve into how this whole wild, perilous ride actually begins. It starts with what the book calls the arrangement.
Sounds ominous.
Misery is literally summoned by her estranged vampire father and told, in no uncertain terms, that she will marry Lowe Moreland, the alpha of the most powerful werewolf pack.
Just like that. No discussion.
Nope. The reason is stark and brutal. It's a purely strategic marriage, meant to cement a fragile truce and prevent an all-out war. It's all about duty, not desire, right from the jump.
A transaction, really.
A transaction rather than a union, exactly.
What's truly fascinating here is the sheer abruptness and complete lack of agency Misery is afforded. She isn't consulted. She's simply informed of her fate.
Yeah, that power dynamic is intense.
This immediate, stark power imbalance sets the stage perfectly for her entire journey of reclaiming agency throughout the book. She begins as a pawn, a seemingly expendable piece on a vast political chessboard.
And we watch her fight back.
And her arc is largely dedicated to how she subtly, then boldly, reclaims control over her own life and decisions within this oppressive, predetermined framework. It makes her initial, seemingly compliant agreement even more intriguing because, well...
There's more to it. And that's because, as we soon learn, Misery doesn't agree to this marriage out of pure obedience or, a sudden surge of self-sacrifice. She has her own meticulously hidden mission.
The plot thickens.
She wants to uncover what truly happened to her best friend, who mysteriously disappeared in werewolf territory, presumed dead.
Okay, so she's got skin in the game, personally.
And so she's not just a pawn, she's a spy with a deeply personal driving motivation that goes far beyond any political duty.
Precisely. This secret agenda immediately layers a crucial, propulsive mystery element onto what could otherwise be just a political romance plot.
Makes it much more compelling for her.
Her personal motivation elevates the stakes for Misery beyond merely fulfilling a political duty. It fundamentally shifts her from being a passive pawn, waiting for things to happen to her, to an active player moving within this dangerous world with a clear, self-driven purpose that gives her immense internal strength.
She's taking charge in her own way.
She's not simply marrying a powerful werewolf. She's willingly entering enemy territory, navigating its treacherous politics and hidden dangers, specifically to seek answers for someone she deeply cares about. This makes her incredibly proactive, determined, and surprisingly brave.
Even if she's scared.
This hidden objective provides her with an internal compass and resolve, even when she feels utterly powerless in her new, forced circumstances. It's the silent rebellion that fuels her journey.
Then comes the mating ceremony itself, which sounds less like a celebration and more like a powder keg of tension.
I can imagine.
When Misery and Lowe finally meet face to face, it's an immediate, volatile clash. Sparks fly, but it's a potent, confusing mix of undeniable chemical attraction and pure, unadulterated contempt.
Ah, the classic hate at first sight with chemistry.
Lowe is cold, distrustful, clearly viewing her as nothing more than a political tool, a symbol. And Misery naturally seethes with resentment at being treated like mere property, a bargaining chip in a game she didn't ask to play.
The intensity of this initial encounter is absolutely crucial. It's where their infamous enemies-to-lovers dynamic truly ignites. Hazelwood masterfully uses witty banter in these moments.
Her trademark.
Yes, but not just for comedic relief. It's often a sharp-edged defense mechanism. Imagine Misery, cornered by Lowe's accusations, maybe deflecting with a sarcastic jab about his temper, or a dry remark about the absurdity of it all.
Cutting through the tension.
Exactly. It reveals glimpses of their sharp minds, and the slow burn sexual tension is palpable even at this early stage. It's in the lingering glances, the heightened awareness of each other's presence, the accidental brushes of hands that send unexpected shivers, even amidst their antagonism.
So much going on under the surface.
The contempt is undeniable, yet the underlying primal attraction is also incredibly strong, creating that delicious push-pull dynamic right from their first interaction. They are verbally sparring, sizing each other up, and in doing so, they are already starting to reveal glimpses of their true selves, despite their attempts to remain guarded and distant.
And then, the official bonding ceremony. To satisfy ancient supernatural tradition and cement their alliance, Lowe marks Misery as his mate with a bite.
Whoa, okay, the bite.
Even though the act is, in a way, symbolic of their political union, it does something profound on a deeper level. It awakens a powerful, undeniable connection neither of them wants to acknowledge or, frankly, knows how to handle.
A forced intimacy.
It's a forced intimacy that instantly changes the game.
This raises an incredibly important question about the nature of this symbolic mark, doesn't it? It isn't just a cultural ritual. It introduces this fascinating layer of supernatural compulsion.
Like a fated mates thing.
Exactly, what some would call a fated mates element that intertwines inextricably with their burgeoning personal feelings. This isn't just emotional attraction or political binding. It's a primal, almost magical tether that the mark establishes.
So they're connected, whether they like it or not.
It implies that their thoughts, their emotions, maybe even certain physical sensations might occasionally bleed into each other's consciousness, forcing an intimacy that transcends their initial resistance.
Wow, that complicates things.
It dramatically shapes their journey. This supernatural element forces the characters to confront their burgeoning feelings prematurely, before their emotional barriers are fully down, creating this deep-seated internal conflict. It complicates their dynamic further because it's not just a matter of choice. There's an undeniable primal pull that neither can escape, even if they intellectually resist it.
A constant rhyme.
It's a constant nagging reminder of their forced bond, pushing them towards each other even when their minds scream resistance, making their eventual emotional surrender all the more powerful.
As Misery is forced to start living among the werewolves in Lowe's pack, the plot truly begins to thicken. This period is effectively the unfolding mystery.
Right, she's on her secret mission.
She becomes increasingly suspicious that there's much more to her friend's disappearance than she was initially led to believe, and in parallel, she begins to unravel more about Lowe himself.
Learning about the enemy, or potential ally.
Her clandestine investigations lead her to uncover concrete evidence of widespread conspiracies involving dangerous rogue factions who are actively trying to make this crucial treaty fail,
The plot thickens indeed.
perhaps even orchestrating the war everyone fears.
This is where the political intrigue truly deepens beyond just the initial setup of the marriage. These rogue factions aren't just background noise, they represent a tangible external threat that serves a dual purpose.
How so?
They can either unite Misery and Lowe against a common enemy or further divide them by stoking ancient hatreds and distrust. These factions become a shared danger, forcing our protagonists to consider if working together against this larger, shadowy force might be their only option for survival.
So the threat brings them together, potentially.
Potentially. Misery might stumble upon coded messages, discover strange energy signatures, or notice anomalies in guard patrols that point to a coordinated effort to destabilize the peace. This external threat accelerates their need to understand and potentially rely on one another, as the danger to the treaty, and thus to their own lives, mounts.
Shifting the focus.
It provides a tangible outward focus for their shared distrust, and gradually shifts their focus from each other to the insidious forces working against them.
And while Misery is digging deeper, Lowe is wrestling with his own intense internal battles. He's dealing with a growing, unwanted desire for misery,
The reluctant alpha.
a primal pull he struggles against, but also a persistent gut feeling that she's hiding something big, something potentially dangerous.
His instincts are probably screaming.
Their forced proximity, living under the same roof, sharing tense moments and unexpected quiet ones, leads to these intense, often tension-filled encounters that slowly, agonizingly, start to build a fragile, tentative trust between them.
The power of forced proximity in developing complex romantic relationships is a classic trope for a reason, and it's utilized brilliantly here, elevating it beyond just a setup.
Because they can't escape each other.
Exactly. The constant tension of distrust mixed with undeniable simmering desire creates incredibly compelling character development. They can't escape each other, they're forced to confront their biases, their assumptions, and the undeniable pull between them day in and day out.
Lowe's struggle sounds interesting.
Lowe's internal struggle is nuanced. He's not just feeling desire, but suspicion perhaps he catches her in a lie, or observes her sneaking out at night, fueling his doubts, even as his body betrays him.
And the secrets draw them closer. That's ironic.
Their shared secrets and suspicions, ironically, inadvertently draw them closer. As they navigate the dangerous political landscape and the deepening mystery surrounding Misery's friend, they become each other's unwilling confidants, sharing burdens they wouldn't dare share with their own clans.
Little moments build up.
Each tense encounter, each reluctant moment of shared vulnerability, perhaps a stolen glance during a dangerous hunt, or a moment of shared laughter over some mundane detail chips away at their formidable defenses, whether they wanted it to or not. It's a careful, cautious dance of hesitant revelations and reluctant admissions that paves the way for a much deeper, more authentic connection.
And this leads to a pivotal, often agonizing shift: mutual vulnerability. As Misery and Lowe finally, reluctantly start sharing their true pasts and their hidden motives, the deep-seated hurts, the buried secrets, the genuine reasons behind their action.
The walls start coming down.
They have this powerful, almost shattering realization. They discover that they are both, in their own unique ways, prisoners of their respective clans' expectations, bound by duties and burdens they never chose.
Finding common ground in unexpected places.
And it's in that shared understanding, that moment of profound shared vulnerability, that they finally acknowledge their connection isn't just political or a forced magical bond. It's something real, something profound, something they both genuinely crave despite all the danger.
What's truly fascinating here is this profound transition from strategic allies, operating purely out of necessity and self-preservation, to genuine partners.
It's a huge step for them.
Sharing vulnerabilities is an incredibly powerful act, especially for characters who've been so guarded, so distrustful, and so deeply hurt. It allows them to heal some of the oldest wounds, not just those inflicted by their respective clans, but also by their own internal struggles and long-held beliefs.
This is where the love is transformation theme comes in.
This is where the core theme of love is transformation truly begins to manifest. By seeing each other not just as vampire or werewolf, as enemy or pawn, but as individuals burdened by strikingly similar expectations, pains, and internal conflicts, they begin to build true understanding and empathy.
Like seeing the person behind the label.
Exactly. Misery, usually so cynical, might reveal a childhood memory of longing for acceptance, prompting Lowe to share his own burdens of leadership and the isolation it brings. It's a profound moment of recognition where they realize they're more alike than different, despite the ancient species-wide chasm between them.
That shared experience is powerful.
Their shared experiences of being outsiders or feeling trapped by duty forge an unbreakable bond, demonstrating that empathy can bridge even the widest divides.
And as that emotional bond deepens and solidifies, it culminates in a passionate, intensely transformative moment where they physically consummate their bond.
The steamy part.
It's a pivotal act that neither of them can deny, a physical manifestation of everything they've been through, all the walls they've broken down.
The significance of the steamy with detailed chemistry romance in this context is paramount. This isn't just physical intimacy for its own sake. It's an integral part of their character development, reflecting and deepening their emotional bond.
It shows how far they've come.
It's the physical manifestation of their walls finally crumbling, a visceral testament to the trust they've painstakingly built amidst betrayal and danger. The passion isn't merely about desire, it's about mutual acceptance, profound vulnerability, and a connection that transcends their species, their past resentments, and even the magical compulsion of their bond.
Solidifying everything.
It solidifies their transformation from enemies to lovers, from pawns to partners. The chemistry is detailed in how their bodies learn to speak a language their words initially couldn't, a language of deep understanding and fierce protectiveness that underscores their emotional surrender to each other. It's an act that binds them on all levels, physical, emotional, and even spiritual within the paranormal context.
But just as they reach this point of profound connection, everything explodes in betrayal and revelation.
Oh no, just when things were getting good.
Misery's persistent, dangerous investigations trigger a direct attack on her life. And in the chaotic aftermath, she uncovers the devastating, gut-wrenching truth. Her own father. The powerful vampire leader who arranged her marriage was directly involved in covering up vampire involvement in her friend's disappearance.
Wow, that's brutal.
It's a complete shattering of her reality.
The profound sense of betrayal Misery must feel from her own family, from the very person who should have protected her, is almost unimaginable. This revelation fundamentally reframes her entire understanding of her past, her identity, and her place in the vampire community.
Changes everything for her.
It forces her to question where her true loyalties lie, not just between vampire and werewolf, but between duty and truth, between blood, family, and self-preservation. This isn't just a personal betrayal, it's a systemic one, exposing the dark underbelly of the very power structure she was born into.
Pushing her further away.
It pushes her further into the position of having to forge her own path, independent of the very people who are supposed to protect and guide her. She becomes a woman defined by her choices, not her lineage.
And at the same time, Lowe's own hidden agenda, the secret that has weighed on him, finally comes to light.
His turn for revelation.
He agreed to this marriage because he desperately needed a vampire ally to stabilize his pack, to prevent internal strife and external threats.
So it was purely strategic for him initially.
But he never, ever expected to care about Misery, to develop genuine feelings. It was a purely pragmatic, strategic decision that got hopelessly, irrevocably entangled with genuine, undeniable emotion.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, this creates a compelling, layered, double betrayal scenario. Both characters entered the marriage with strategic, hidden motives.
Thinking they were playing the game.
Believing they were acting purely out of necessity or self-interest. The emergence of genuine feelings of deep love and hard-won trust complicates everything because it makes those initial strategic deceits feel like deeply personal betrayals, even if they weren't intended as such against the other person.
Like feeling used, maybe.
Exactly. Lowe, for example, might have chosen to withhold information about his pack's vulnerability, leading Misery to feel used. This revelation pushes their newly formed trust to its absolute breaking point.
Can they get past it?
Can they truly overcome the initial deceptions and the deep-seated loyalties they were defying for so long? It sets up the ultimate test of their relationship. Can love truly conquer all, even calculated political maneuvers and the bitter taste of initial deception? Their bond, strong as it is now laid bare, forced to contend with these foundational untruths.
All of this tension, all these revelations, culminate in the climax and resolution. There's a violent, desperate confrontation between the two factions, vampire and werewolf.
the war they tried to prevent.
threatening to ignite an all-out war that would consume their hidden world. Misery and Lowe's are faced with the ultimate impossible decision, whether to truly trust each other, to sacrifice their ingrained family loyalties and defy everything they've ever known.
Their identities, their people.
Their very identities for greater peace.
The stakes here are incredibly heightened, not just for their personal relationship, but for the very existence of their species. It's a testament to their profound growth that their individual choice to trust one another and stand together becomes a powerful model for broader coexistence.
Their personal choice has huge ripple effects.
It's the idea that individual understanding and empathy, forged in the crucible of conflict and personal revelation, can pave the way for a collective peace that transcends ancient prejudices and inherited hatreds. Their decision to put their trust in each other, despite the revelations of their original deceptions, speaks volumes about how far they've come and how much their love has transformed them beyond their initial roles.
It's about choosing each other over everything else.
It's no longer about a forced alliance, but a chosen one, a unified front against the forces of division that threaten to destroy everything.
And in that final climactic showdown, they do it. They choose each other. They stand together. A vampire-werewolf power couple.
Quite the image.
Defying their own clans, their own blood, to save both species from mutual destruction. It's a truly heroic, defining moment for them.
So what does this all mean for the overall narrative? Their alliance, born of dire political necessity and initially fraught with distrust and hidden agendas, ultimately blossoms into a real, transformative love.
It worked against all odds.
By forging this new path together, through shared vulnerability, mutual respect, and a willingness to challenge deeply entrenched traditions, they not only save their own lives and relationship, but create a blueprint for future coexistence for their entire world.
A hopeful ending, then.
It's not just a happy ending for them, it's a hopeful new beginning for their society, illustrating that even in a world riddled with ancient hatreds, genuine connection, understanding, and love can indeed break cycles of violence and foster a path towards harmony. This provides the ultimate satisfying emotional payoff that readers seek in a romance, especially one layered with such intense political intrigue and profound personal growth. 4 key themes and Ali Hazelwood's signature style.
So what does this all mean beyond the exciting, suspenseful plot? Let's talk about the rich thematic landscape of Bride, because there's a lot going on beneath the surface.
Definitely more than just fangs and fur.
First up, we have identity and belonging. Misery's entire journey is about moving from an outcast, someone who felt she never truly fit in anywhere, to someone who actively chooses to define her own worth and forge her own sense of belonging.
Her hybrid nature is absolutely central to accentuating this struggle for identity and belonging. Being half human, half vampire means she's inherently other to both pure-blood vampires and werewolves. She exists in this liminal space, accepted by neither.
Which must be incredibly isolating.
Her profound rejection by both communities, especially by her own father, paradoxically empowers her. It forces her to look inward, to build resilience, and ultimately to forge her own path and define her own identity, rather than perpetually seeking external validation or a place to fit in.
Finding belonging within herself.
She learns that true belonging comes not from where you can physically fit in, but from where you choose to stand, who you choose to be, and with whom you choose to build a connection. Her rejection by traditional power structures gives her the freedom to create a new identity, one that transcends the very categories that sought to limit her.
Then there's duty versus desire, a theme particularly prominent in Lowe's arc. He struggles constantly with the immense weight of deciding if he will be the alpha his people need, the strong, unwavering, ruthless leader expected of him.
The traditional alpha role.
Or the mate Misery deserves, the one who can offer her genuine connection, intimacy, and protection beyond mere obligation.
This truly highlights the immense weight of leadership and societal expectation clashing head-on with profound personal happiness and genuine emotional connection. Lowe's evolution here challenges traditional alpha roles in a compelling way.
How does it challenge them?
He begins to realize that being a strong leader isn't just about exhibiting raw power, control, or strategic cunning. It's also fundamentally about vulnerability, compromise, and recognizing that his personal happiness, deeply tied to misery, can actually strengthen his leadership by making him more complete, more empathetic, and more grounded.
So vulnerability makes him stronger.
His initial alpha persona is rigid and aloof, but through his connection with misery, he learns to temper his reactions, consider different perspectives, and even show mercy, qualities that ultimately make him a more effective and respected leader among his pack, rather than just a feared one. His journey is about redefining what it truly means to be an alpha, embracing a broader sense of responsibility that includes personal well-being and genuine connection, not just brute force or political maneuvering.
And perhaps the most powerful overarching theme in Bride, love is transformation. The book deeply explores how vulnerability and trust, when genuinely offered and reciprocated, possess the extraordinary power to heal even the oldest, most entrenched wounds.
Not just personal wounds either.
No, not just personal ones, but those that stretch back centuries between warring species.
This theme is indeed the beating heart of Bride. Their love doesn't just make them feel good, it fundamentally changes their perspectives, shifts their loyalties, and even alters their very beings.
It changes who they are.
It forces them to move beyond the inherited prejudices of their species and their deep personal resentments. Misery, who began as deeply cynical and guarded, learns to trust and open up, letting go of years of bitterness and emotional walls. Lowe, initially isolated and driven purely by strategic gain, learns to prioritize emotional connection, to admit his own fears and vulnerabilities, and to forge a partnership based on true affection.
It's a catalyst for growth.
Their relationship is a powerful catalyst, transforming them from individuals bound by duty, past hurts, and rigid expectations into people capable of forging a completely new, hopeful future. It's a profound testament to the idea that love isn't just a fleeting feeling, but an active, dynamic, transformative force that can literally reshape individuals and, by extension, entire societies. It demonstrates that empathy and mutual respect can dismantle barriers stronger than any physical wall.
Finally, we have power dynamics and agency, a critical theme particularly evident in Misery's remarkable journey. She starts as the ultimate pawn in this complex political game, a literal bargaining chip.
Right back to the beginning.
But by the end of the book, she transforms into a truly powerful player, actively shaping her own destiny and the fate of her world.
Tracing her arc of reclaiming her agency is incredibly satisfying for the reader. Her journey from being a mere bargaining chip to an active, influential player is marked by a series of specific actions and courageous decisions.
Like her investigation.
From undertaking her secret investigation into her friend's disappearance, to directly challenging Lowe and his Prax assumptions, to ultimately standing against her own father and clan in a pivotal confrontation, each step is a deliberate act of choosing her own path.
She earns her power.
She doesn't just gain power passively through her connection to Lowe, she earns it actively through her own sharp intellect, her unwavering bravery, and her fierce determination to seek justice and truth no matter the personal cost. She goes from being someone acted upon to someone who acts with clear purpose and profound influence, not just in her personal life and relationship, but in the broader supernatural political landscape.
A great character arc.
This arc is a powerful statement about finding your voice and seizing your power even when the world seems determined to keep you small.
And now let's pivot to Ali Hazelwood's signature style that permeates Bride. For fans, it's immediately recognizable, right?
Yeah, you can still feel it's her.
We're talking her trademark witty banter, that classic slow burn sexual tension that builds exquisitely deep emotional depth that makes you truly care about the characters, and surprisingly, contemporary language, despite this deep dive into a world of ancient, hidden supernaturals.
One particularly compelling aspect here is precisely how these signature elements are not just transplanted, but adapted from her contemporary romance roots to fit a darker, more fantastical world.
How does the banter work here?
The witty banter, for instance, isn't simply for comedic relief. It often serves as a sharp-edged defense mechanism for both characters. Imagine Misery, after a tense argument, delivering a dry, sarcastic quip about Lowe's dramatic exits, or Lowe responding to her cynicism with a surprising, understated retort that disarms her.
Using wit as a weapon almost.
This kind of wit cuts through the intense tension and reveals glimpses of their true, often vulnerable personalities. The slow burn isn't just about delaying gratification. It masterfully builds anticipation and underscores the character's deep-seated reluctance to give in to a connection they initially perceive as dangerous or forbidden.
How does she build that?
It's built through lingering glances across a tense dinner table, the accidental brush of hands during a shared moment of danger, or quiet, vulnerable conversations exchanged in the dead of night where their guards drop. if only for a second. And the contemporary language grounds the fantastical elements, making the supernatural world feel more relatable and immediate to the reader.
Makes it accessible.
It prevents the book from feeling overly grand or detached, allowing for that intimate connection Ali Hazelwood is known for, even with vampires and werewolves.
And let's not forget, the romance is undeniably steamy with detailed chemistry, and the plot masterfully balances that intense paranormal intrigue with a truly strong character arc for both Misery and Lowe.
It's a great blend.
It's not just one or the other. It's both working in tandem.
The balance between the romance and the overarching plot is undoubtedly one of the book's greatest strengths. The steamy aspect isn't merely decorative or for shock value. It serves the character development and the unfolding mystery directly.
How does it serve the characters?
The physical intimacy becomes a powerful extension of their emotional growth, a way for them to communicate and deepen their bond when words might fail, reflecting the increasing trust and passion that's undeniable. It's a tangible manifestation of their walls finally crumbling.
And the intrigue isn't just background.
Similarly, the paranormal intrigue, the hidden factions, the ancient grudges, Misery's personal quest, isn't just window dressing. It directly impacts their relationship and their personal journeys, forcing them to make difficult, often agonizing choices that profoundly define their character arcs. Each element feeds into the other, creating a cohesive, deeply engaging narrative experience where the personal stakes are intrinsically linked to the fate of their world.
A really well-woven story.
It's a remarkable fusion that keeps readers hooked on both the relationship and the unfolding mystery, the summary verdict and future contemplations.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Ali Hazelwood's Bride, our verdict is pretty clear. This is a modern paranormal romance that truly delivers on all fronts.
It hits all the right notes.
It has all the classic enemies to lovers intensity you could possibly ask for, expertly wrapped up in intricate political scheming, and ultimately it culminates in a deeply satisfying emotional payoff that leaves you feeling, well, fulfilled.
It absolutely reiterates the appeal for those who love Hazelwood's voice, that signature wit, that keen emotional intelligence, that distinct blend of humor and heart, but who are also seeking something darker and more fantastical than her previous contemporary works.
So a good entry point for fans wanting something different.
It serves as a perfect bridge for fans looking to explore new genres while still enjoying the author's beloved style. This book would truly resonate with anyone who adores a good forced proximity trope, relishes a grumpy sunshine dynamic with an unexpected, dangerous twist.
With a very grumpy alpha.
Right. And is drawn to stories where the characters must overcome massive external threats and profound internal obstacles to find not just love, but a new understanding of themselves and their world.
So what does this all mean for you? Thinking about Misery and Lowe's journey, how they evolve from sworn enemies forced into an alliance to partners who ultimately defy entrenched loyalties and ancient prejudices for a greater peace. What might it take for us, in our own lives, to bridge seemingly insurmountable divides and find common ground with those we've been taught to view as other?
That's a big question.
How can love, or maybe even just genuine understanding and a willingness to be vulnerable, transform not just individuals and their personal relationships, but entire communities, pushing past the ancient grudges and inherited biases that often keep us apart?
Definitely something to chew on.
It's a compelling question to consider in our own complex world.